Hey everyone, in today's episode, we're going to turn AI models into APIs. So, what we're going to be doing is deploying Deepseek via Hugging Face's inference endpoints, and this will expose a secure endpoint that we can interact with via HTTP requests. Before we get started, make sure you have billing set up. You can go to the URL settings/billing to just verify that you have some payment method set up. That's just the requirement. Once you have this set up, click deploy your first model. This will bring up the model catalog. In here is just a handful of inference tasks as well as common models. You can search in here, DeepSeek, for example, or if you don't see it here, because as you can see, there's only 101 items, you can deploy from Hugging Face Hub. So for example, here's one I've deployed in the past, Seamless. It's a translation model by Facebook. You can do it that way as well. But let's go ahead. Let's get DeepSeek. As you scroll down, you can see here, this is, I believe, the minimum price per hour that it will cost to host these. For our example, we'll just use this one right here. So when you're in here, we have more options, hardware configuration, security level, auto scaling, container config, environment variables. We're going to just use default, AWS, cheapest instance. Security level, we're going to stay with protected. All this requires is your Hugging Face token. Be sure to create one and use it alongside your requests. Auto scaling, it defaults to 15 minutes with no activity. So once deployed, if you don't interact with this endpoint, after 15 minutes, it'll scale down to 0. So you're no longer being charged just $3.80 per hour. The only issue with this is the cold start can take quite a bit of time. So after auto scaling is 0, scaling back up to 1 takes quite a bit of time. So if you always need this endpoint available, you might want to adjust this and say never automatically scale. All right, and that's it. Let's create our endpoint. So this is initializing. It's deploying our model to a dedicated endpoint configured for our access token. This should take a few minutes, so just be patient and wait for initializing to show running. Now that it's green, you can see it exposes a endpoint URL here. So that's going to be a public-facing URL, but if you navigate to it, 401 unauthorized. But if you go down to our playground, you can play with the parameters of the model as well as interact with it. Or you can go to the API view and use the SDK. I'm going to use curl. Just be sure to adjust the bearer. See this HF. You want this to replace this with your access token. Now I have it copied over. I'm going to paste it into my terminal, hit enter, and you can see it streaming the response. These are each individual chunks that you're going to probably want to do some post-processing on to get the content. There you have it. Hosted Deepseek R1 model via Hugging Face's inference endpoints.